Hello children, in the previous videos we have studied about the definition of pollination, that is, it is the process of transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. We saw that there are three ways of pollination: autogamy, geitonogamy and allogamy. We also studied that two kinds of pollination are observed in nature: self-pollination and cross-pollination. We studied the advantages and disadvantages of self and cross-pollination. After that, we studied that nature favors cross-pollination. Okay. So, unisexuality, dichogamy, self-sterility, hercogamy and heterostyly are the conditions which will be helping the nature, or you can say which will be favoring the cross-pollination to take place in the nature. Right? Fine. So up till here we have studied. Now we will be studying about the agents of cross-pollination. Basically what happens is cross-pollination occurs between plants that are placed at distance. So there should be some agent to transfer the pollen grain to the stigma of the other flower which is present on the other plant. Okay. So what type of agents are involved in cross-pollination? The agents may be insect or wind or water, like that. Okay. So such plants will be called as insect pollinated, wind pollinated or water pollinated plants. Understanding? The common agents of cross-pollination are insect and wind. But then you will be finding plants which are pollinated by birds, by bats or by elephant also, right? So there are different agents of pollination. We are going to study the characteristics of the flowers which are pollinated by such different agents, right? So we will start with the insect pollinated plants which are also called as entomophilous. Okay, entomophilous. Entomo means insect and phily means affinity. So the insects are attracted towards the insect pollinated flowers. Okay. So what are the characteristics of insect pollinated flowers? First, the flowers are large, they are brightly colored, they produce scent, they produce nectar, and all these characteristics are produced by the plant. The plant is showy, the plant is producing scent and nectar. Okay, these characteristics are shown in the plants or produced by the plants so as to attract the insects for the process of pollination. Nectar is the food for the insects, so the insect will be attracted towards the plant for the nectar. Understanding? Yes. Next thing, talking about the pollen grain in insect pollinated flowers. The pollen grains are sticky or spiny. Why they are sticky or spiny? They are sticky and spiny so that they get attached to the body of the insect and thus the insect will be carrying them. Okay. Sticky or spiny pollen grain will get attached to the body of the insect and the insect will be carrying it to the other plant flower. Sorry. Next one is talking about the stigma. The stigma in insect pollinated flowers is sticky and they do not hang out of the flower. Okay. Since the stigma is sticky, the pollen grain which is sticking to the body of the insect, it gets stuck to the stigma of the other flower and this way the pollination will be taking place with the help of the insect. I think you are understanding. Okay, the pollen grain is sticky or spiny, so it will be attached to the body of the insect. When the same insect goes to the other flower, okay, of the same species, here the stigma is sticky. So the pollen grain that was attached to the body of the insect, it will get attached to the stigma and that way the pollination will be taking place. What is pollination? We have studied. It is the transfer of pollen grain to the stigma, right? Yeah. Next thing is the flowers are produced in cluster. Cluster means they are produced in groups, especially in case of flowers which are small in size. Okay. Here in case of insect pollinated flowers or entomophilous flowers, the example is hibiscus. Coming to the next one, that is wind pollinated flowers. Okay. The characteristics of wind pollinated flowers. First of all, wind pollinated means anemophilous. Anemophilous. Anemo means wind and phily means affinity, okay, or likeness, right? So the characteristics of wind pollinated plants are the first one, the flowers are small, right? They are not brightly colored, okay, they are often dull in color. They do not produce nectar or scent. The reason is here they do not need to attract the insects, okay, so they will not be producing the scent or nectar, they will not be brightly colored. Understanding? Next point is here the stamens are long and hang out of the flower, okay, as you can see here in the diagram, okay, this is the flower, very small flower. The stamen is hanging out of the flower, okay, it is long and it is hanging out of the flower. Why it is hanging out of the flower, we will we will study about it later on. Next point is anthers are large and loosely attached, okay. The anthers, you already know what are anthers, okay, they are the part of the male reproductive organ, okay, the filament and the anther, bilobed anther, if you remember, right? So those anthers are large and they are loosely attached, right? See, when the wind blows, okay, if the stamen is out of the flower, it becomes very easy to carry the pollen grains by the wind, okay. Understanding? The anther, it will be outside the flower, okay, it is loosely attached, so it can move in all the directions. So when the wind is blowing through this anther, it will carry the pollen grains very easily, okay. Understanding? That is why the stamens are long and the anthers are loosely attached, so that the wind can carry the pollen grains very easily from such anthers. Next, pollen grains are light, okay, and they are dry and smooth. The pollen grains are light, dry and smooth, okay. Why they are light, dry and smooth? So that they can be easily carried on by the wind. That is why they are light and they are smooth, okay. Dry and smooth, these characteristics will be helping the pollen grain to go along with the wind. See, if they are sticky or if they are spiny, what will happen? They will stick to a particular surface and they will not be carried away by the wind. That is why they are dry and smooth. The pollen grains are produced large in number. Here also the reason is, see, when the wind is carrying the pollen grains, there are chances that some pollen grains will be left behind and they will not reach the plant, okay, of the particular species, of that particular species. They will not be reaching the stigma of the flowers, okay. That is why the pollen grains are produced large in number, so that there are more chances that the pollen grain will be reaching to the stigma of the flower, okay. After that, next characteristic is stigma is feathery and hang out, okay, like the anther the stamen hang out, same way the stigma also hangs out, okay. You can see the stigma is hanging out of the flower and the stigma is feathery. See, when the pollen grain is carried along with the wind, okay, towards the stigma, okay, this pollen grain will get trapped in the feathery stigma and that way the pollination becomes easy, right? Understanding? Otherwise the wind will carry the pollen grain away along with it. So to increase the chances of the pollination, the stigma are feathery, so when the pollen grain reaches the stigma, okay, it gets trapped in the feathery stigma. Understanding? So these are the different characteristics of the wind pollinated plants, also called as anemophilous plants, and the example given over here is that of maize. The next type is water pollinated or hydrophilous, okay. Hydro means water and phily means affinity. So we will go through the characteristics of hydrophilous plants or hydrophilous flowers. Here the pollen grains are produced large in number, okay. First of all, These water pollinated type of characteristic is found only in the aquatic plant, okay, the plants which are present in the water. Second, pollen grains are produced large in number. See, when the pollen grains are transported with the help of water, there are chances that the pollen grain will not reach the stigma. So to increase the chances of the pollen grain reaching the stigma, they are produced large in number, okay. So the chances of pollination increases. Next, the pollen grains are having specific gravity equal to that of water, okay, and because of same specific gravity of the pollen grain and the water, the pollen grain will be remaining floating on the surface of the water, okay. So the pollen grain floats on the water. Apart from this characteristic, the pollen grains are resistant to water, okay. So there will be no effect of water on the pollen grains. The pollen grains will not be absorbing the water and the decay of the pollen grain will not be taking place. Understanding? So that characteristic is seen in the water pollinated plants or water pollinated flowers. Here also the flowers are produced, they are very small in size, as we saw in the wind pollinated plants also, right? So coming to the example is water plant called as Vallisneria. Some other type of agents of pollination you can consider over here. Some plants are pollinated by bird, like canna. It is pollinated by bird and the term used is ornithophily. Ornitho means bird, okay. So here we are having the example of bignonia and canna. There is one more that is called as elephophily. Now this particular, it is pollinated by the help of the elephants, okay, and the example is Rafflesia. Rafflesia is a very large flower and it is produced at the level of the ground, okay. So when the elephant walks across this flower, the pollen grain will be sticking to the elephant's leg, and when the elephant moves to another flower of Rafflesia, that time the pollen grain will stick to the stigma of that another flower, and this way the pollination takes place with the help of the elephants and it is called as elephophily, okay. So these were the different agents of cross pollination, and we studied the characteristics of the flowers shown by entomophilous, anemophilous, hydrophilous plants or flowers, okay.